What's up, everybody? Jeremy here with Hex TCG, or your Hex headquarters channel now. You may know me from my Magic the Gathering channel, but I'm also getting into this new game called Hex, and it has a lot of similarities with Magic the Gathering. And so I decided to talk a little bit about the various parallels between the game. Separate that out into a couple different videos that maybe help both get you familiar with Hex as a game and also talk a little bit about the similarities. And so this video is really about terminology similarities. And so what you can see going on here in the video is just simply some gameplay, I believe from the How to Play tutorial that they put out. And you're seeing right now is a resource card, which is the exact same thing as a mana. You can only play one per turn. They accumulate. They show it in a different way, but they call it a resource, and that's kind of the first terminology word I'll go over. So mana and resources is basically the same thing. And then you have various card types like a constant card, an artifact, a troop card, your resource card, and a quick action. There's 5 main types, at least at the time of this video. And so like a constant card is basically the same thing as an enchantment in Magic the Gathering. Artifacts are both artifacts, same thing. Your troop card is basically the same thing as like a creature. Then you have your resource, which is a land or a mana in this case, or mana in Magic, but in this game they refer to it as a resource. And a quick action card, which is similar to an instant or a sorcery. I assume it's, from what I can tell from the early videos, is that you've got, it's enacted at instant speed, just like in Magic the Gathering. Some of the other things you'll see here as creatures hit the battlefield and the two players begin to enter into some combat is the cards tap as we know it in Magic the Gathering. However, in Hex it's called exhausted, which is fine, but just so you can follow along, right? And creatures still suffer from summoning sickness, and you'll hear all sorts of other words like here he's looking at a troop card, basically, called Runts of the Litter. I think it puts 3 little tokens out there. Some cards, like for example in Magic the Gathering, they have haste. Here I think it's called speed. And then in Magic the Gathering there's first strike. Here it's called swift strike. He doesn't go through it all in the video, but I'm pretty sure that's like the correlation as I see it. And then you have like when it's untapped, they refer to it as being ready, and right now he's attacking, thus tapping / exhausting his resource. The other player has no blocks, and so he'll take 2 damage. There's also similar terminology that you'll see in the gameplay, like they refer to it as evolving your creatures. In Magic the Gathering that means something similar, like we are placing tokens on creatures that are evolving, but in here it's more general and just, I'm going to evolve a creature, you can place 3 tokens on it, or you can place 1 token on it, or whatever the case may be. Here he's looking at a Blaze Elemental, which is just it's basically an elemental card, right? But it's also an ability of his champion, and that I'll talk a little bit about in a similar video that is just talks about parallels between Magic the Gathering Hex in terms of gameplay, because it's very similar. And the video here isn't really to point out, like, if you read the forums and things like that, you get a lot of people talking about, oh, it's a Magic ripoff, or it's not unique. I sort of understand what they're going through here. I'm not entirely sure Hex will replace Magic the Gathering for me at all. It definitely has a strong chance at replacing my MTGO budget for a wide variety of other reasons, which maybe I'll make another video. But people have to pick up the game, and I mean, it's not like they can go out and everyone just starts a brand new card game with totally new mechanics. I think there's parallels between all card games, all TCGs out there, really. you know, here in Hex, your mana still every turn replenishes. All your spells and things like that have a casting cost. There are still direct damage. Here's you're seeing him play an evolve spell, and it basically says like each troop you get gets a token or whatever. I didn't read it all the way through. So yeah, it's very similar. In if you use MTG terminology, it makes a lot more sense. There are other things like your champion. In terms of terminology, kind of think about if Magic the Gathering had, if you had a Planeswalker out at all times, and your Planeswalker had like 20 life, and that was the 20 life you were playing with. If you think about it that way, the game definitely makes a ton of sense. Obviously, I talked about troop, artifact, constant. There are also slots that you can use equipment for on your champion. So imagine, if you will, like in Magic the Gathering, you have slots. Imagine if you could actually put equipment, like artifact equipment, on a Planeswalker. It's kind of how this would work. So, I mean, that's some of the terminology. You know, it still has, you know, you have attack and defense on every card, like you see there. He's attacking essentially with a 3/2, just as we know it. And, you know, they also have words for trample. I forget exactly what that is, but I think it's like brute attack or something like that. But the idea here is just to get you familiar with what the terminology means here in terms of Hex versus MTG, and also maybe familiarize you with a little bit more with the game. I'm definitely going to be doing tons of videos on Hex, along with the videos that I make for Magic the Gathering, which at the time of this video I have over 9,000 subscribers on that channel, and I'm not slowing that down at all. I just, you know, as you guys know, it's great to have a second card game to play, and for me, I think it's going to be Hex. You know, I'm excited for the alpha to come out, and I think there are a lot of parallels between Magic, which will make it easy for me to get into, and also a lot of parallels with, boy, like poker and things like that, and obviously the MMO scene, which I can talk about in a wide variety of other videos, but I don't want to blather on too long. I've already talked so much about it, but if you have any questions about Hex terminology, take a second and post it on down below. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. I'll be uploading several new videos every single week up to the alpha. I'm an alpha. I donated to their Kickstarter, so I have alpha access. So as soon as I have access to alpha, you'll see gameplay footage of me actually playing, which could be at the time of this filming in the next several weeks. So keep an eye out for that. I've already got my Twitch channel set up for it, and I'm going to stream on Friday nights at Hex headquarters on twitch.tv. So I'm going full court press on Hex, just like I do on Magic the Gathering and my RC channel as well. So here you're seeing a burn spell right here. It's literally called Burn. Deal 2 damage to target champion or troop. And champion is like, imagine champion. Here's another terminology example. Champion is the same thing as player. So if you have any questions about Hex in general, yeah, like I said, post them up on down below. If you could see to it, maybe crush that thumbs up button below the video. It means a lot to me. And I hope you guys found this video helpful. We'll talk to you again real soon.